All right, everybody. How are we doing today? Welcome back to another episode of the Robbie Basel Show. Today is February 2nd, 2024. Hope your week went well. Can't wait to enjoy the weekend just like all the rest of you guys. I can't wait, at least. And today we have a variety of topics to discuss, from the New York Jets to F1 driver changes, AFCON and Asian Cup 2, and an MLB trade. You haven't seen this variety, this amount of topics about me talking about an NFL game since probably August, maybe? I don't know. Let's begin. I'm not messing around. We're going to start with the New York Jets. Uh, with Robert Saleh threatening to take away coaches' phones over Aaron Rodgers leaks. And now Zach Wilson's getting trade offers. Trade offers are coming for Wilson now, apparently. This whole team's a mess. This whole situation is going to cause players. This is what happens in dysfunctional organizations. This is a dysfunctional organization, and this team is literally a meme. It is, and uh, it's impossible to know that the New York Jets coach Robert Saleh treats assistants like teenagers because he knows no better way. Sack this man. I haven't called a coach to be fired like this before. To be fair, it could be possible that his staff, which could also be argued to be sacked, could have acted like teenagers because they know no better way. This is a whole weird situation that Solid threatened to take away phones. Like, what is this? Come on, man. This is outrageous. Like, there was leaks within the team and about Rodgers coming, or other things that Rodgers was saying. Like, he says that's a problem with the organization. We need to get to the bottom, whatever this is coming from, and put a stop to it privately, because there's no place in a winning culture, and this isn't the only time. There's been a bunch of other leaks. I mean, it's the New York media, and they want to get the news out quick. But I've never heard of this before in a professional team. I've never seen this before. This is crazy. And Salah responded, by having a meeting with his staff, he grant immunity to the person who leaked the stuff. I don't buy that at all. And then Salah threatened to take away his staff's cell phones and to cut off their allowance and ban them from watching TV for a week. That's what the source said, but there's something similar to that. Not that exactly. According to Mike Fisher, who wrote this article. Which actually how it sounds. Cut the wage, that would be absolutely outrageous. This is not how you handle the situation. It's also weird that the Jets, this whole situation is weird. And I don't think it's going to come to an end soon. And this could ultimately cost Salah his job, which makes it weirder that Salah even has his job to begin with. Because this is not how you address the situation with the staff or the board. It's weird. I'm done talking about this. Zach Wilson rumored to be traded. Multiple teams are now reportedly interested. I think you have to trade him now, which will make me very sad as a Jets fan because I like him still, but he got thrown into the fire twice, multiple times, and he'll probably be on the move. It'll be sad to see, but they'll probably get a 4th-round pick, and everyone will declare him a bust, and then he'll save his career in this situation like Minnesota or something. I don't know. I'm done talking about the Jets. They make me way too frustrated. On to the news from yesterday, which was broke to us by not only Sky Sports, but Fabrizio Romano even broke the story with an F1 driver move for 2025 that no one was expecting. Well, some may have or claim to have. I didn't. I thought this guy was going to stay in Mercedes forever, but that is Lewis Hamilton to Ferrari. Here we go, as Fabrizio would say. According to ESPN, this is the article that I have in front of me. Lewis Hamilton will make a sensational move to Ferrari for the 2025 season as he confirms a multi-year contract with the Italian team Ferrari. Oh boy. And while this makes me think that Fernando Alonso will be the next Mercedes driver, it's not going to happen. But He'll be replacing Carlos Sainz, who was rumored to have like a pre-agreement with the rebranded Audi team for 2026. I talked about it on podcasts before that this situation could get worse with Sainz. This is all the way back in like October when I talked about this. I think I talked about it with Shane in Rome, where you defend Leclerc, and I did defend Leclerc. This is a whole weird situation. Hamilton will be, I believe, 40 or 41 when he joins Ferrari. So he's going from one team that gave him all these championships to probably one of the most dysfunctional teams in the F1 circuit. I mean, this is ridiculous. The whole reaction. Like, I woke up to this yesterday, and the way I'll put it is this: I woke up to 4 texts and about 20 notifications from the sources saying like, "Oh yeah, Lewis Hamilton's moving to Ferrari." So I woke up, checked the sources in my phone, and I was actually in my bed. That's right there. Nope, there. And I was like, "Oh, it's actually gonna happen." And Lewis Hamilton says is the hardest decision he ever had to make. He makes it seem like he went for the money, but he must have saw like the future plans for Mercedes, and he was like, "Yeah, this is not gonna work." But he pulls a reverse Michael Schumacher, because I believe he drove for Mercedes at one point and was at Ferrari, but this is like a Sebastian Vettel type of move. This is insane, and he'll be probably the best ever driver for the Silver Arrows that they'll ever have. He is the greatest Formula One driver we'll ever see. For the sake of himself, I want to see him win a race this year. And I think it's possible. We'll see how testing goes, because the F1 season, I believe, is only a month away. It's inside of a month. The practice sessions it's actually a month from today is the first race of the season. On March 2nd in Bahrain, which I'm excited as hell for, guys. You cannot contain the excitement I have currently. But this whole situation, this is another weird one, because if you're Carlos Sainz, what do you do now? I mean, maybe he can drive for that Visa Cash App Racing Bulls team for a season, and then do whatever you want to do next. But Toto Wolff, I have to comment about this too. He wasn't surprised by the deal of Hamilton to Ferrari, which is also interesting. But the timing was that this was his Hamilton's Ferrari deal, not a surprise, but the timing was, per Toto Wolff. Mercedes team principal Toto Wolff has insisted Lewis Hamilton's decision to leave for Ferrari was not a surprise, but admitting the timing with the announcement just 3 weeks before the first day of testing for the new season was. Now, testing is like when you test the car out. It's pretty simple. But, wow, this is crazy. 5 months ago, like I said, he signed a new contract for 24 and 25, and now he's leaving and not going to do the 2025 part of the contract. And he had an exit clause that he's going to split at the end of next season. I think this is the year, and I'll make this statement now, where we're going to see the end of an era. Possibly. We're going to see, I have a feeling that Alonso's going to retire, Bottas was going to retire, Hamilton's changing teams. All of this is going to open up I think maybe K-Mag and Hulkenberg could retire at the end of the season. I think that's a possibility as well. This is the last season where we're going to see people like Alonso who've been in the sport for a long time. We're nearing the end of Hamilton too. But we're going to start to, I think, really see very soon what young guys can break into Formula One. And I know Frederick Vesti, that's one of the names I know, Jack Doohan, who we have seen in an F1 race before. Awasa, who's in the... Let's look at the F2 guys real quick. Let's look at the standings from last year and who I think Théo Pourchaire, who I love, by the way. I love Théo Pourchaire. He's so good. He will be a menace if he wins F1. But Vesti, Awasa, Doohan, Fittipaldi, I think, could possibly be in the mix. If you talk about Formula E, if you want to come up with any names from that, maybe Mick Schumacher can get in a car in 2025. The whole situation is chaos. And what this, at the end of this season, how this driver market can change the future of the sport for a lot of teams. The impact can be it's insane, the impact of what the season will have for the future of the sport. We'll probably see Max win the world title. That's inevitable. But people moving teams, big names were possibly retiring. I'm just bringing up the ideas of it. But what could possibly happen here? It's crazy to think. And F1 is going to be something to watch out for this season. I'm very excited for it. But it'll also be very sad, especially if someone big, like really big, goes out and leaves. On to the usual parts of the day, which we talk about some footballing action. We talked about the Prem. Actually, no, we didn't get to talk about the Prem because yes, we did. We'll talk about the Prem real quick from Wednesday. Man City beat Burnley 3-1. Fair play to Man City. They actually get the score I predicted, which was a 3-1. The other game I felt was interesting was Liverpool. They beat Chelsea 4-1. They went up 3-0, courtesy of Diogo Jota. Connor Bradley he's been in great form for Liverpool. Dominic Szoboszlai, and eventually Luis Diaz grabbed the fourth before Christopher Nkunku grabbed the goal. Consolation goal for the Blues. Liverpool win this match by a final of 4-1 and will remain top of the table, 5 points clear with one more match played than Manchester City. But I think that wasn't the talk of the day, because in a stunning turn of events, Tottenham, who were at one point losing at home to Brentford of all people, came back and won, courtesy of goals from Udogie, Johnson, and Richarlison? Okay. And Ivan Toney grabbed the late goal in the 67th minute, but it's not enough as Tottenham grab a shocking win come from behind win against Brentford. Brentford, who are only 4 points from the drop, which is a crazy thing to think about since I had them in 10th or 11th or 10th at the beginning of the year. They are in trouble. And let's talk about this game. Timo Werner had a big time impact in this game. I think he's going to be, with the absence of Heung-min Son, who is going to step up for Tottenham? And right now it looks like it's Timo Werner and James Maddison. They've both been great in Maddison, the central midfield, going out there and creating plays. And Timo Werner as well. And on the opposite side, you're not really getting anything in terms of like ratings or anything positive other than Ivan Toney, who's been great since coming back. But you knew that was going to happen, but he had the least touches of any outfield player in the 90 minutes. It's Ivan Toney. He's your best player. He needs to get more involved for anything to be successful. But the defense didn't have a good day. Match ratings of 6.1s, some 6.2s. Like, this can't happen for Brentford. Brentford, who their next match is against City on Monday. Nothing gets easy for them at the community stadium, but they're in trouble, and I'm interested to see how they respond. Yesterday, we had West Ham play a very frustrating 1-1 draw. Dominic Solanke is back on the score sheet. He scored in the 3rd minute. James Ward-Prowse converted a penalty to level it up, but it's a 1-1 draw. West Ham, who I don't think they're in a great spot. Let's take a look at West Ham. Yeah, they're not. In all competitions, they have not won a game in the new year. Their last win, a 2-0 win away to Arsenal. They have drawn Brighton. They've drawn Bristol. Then they lost to Bristol. They've drawn Sheffield, and they've drawn Bournemouth. They are sliding, and it won't get any easier so they get Manchester United and Arsenal next. Yikes. I said they didn't have to play Arsenal again, but I was wrong because one of them was a cup match. Arsenal plays West Ham in 2 weeks, and United plays West Ham on Sunday. So nothing's going to get easier for West Ham. For Bournemouth, great result. They get a much-needed point. They are now, I believe, in 12th position. Yeah, they're in 12th position, 3 points off of 11th, 5 points off top half of the league, which is currently held by Chelsea. They get Nottingham Forest and Fulham in their next couple of games, so they could really make a possible run at top 10, which I didn't think was possible at all. I had them towards the bottom of the league. Fair play to Bournemouth. I think they're in a good situation. And then we had this. Wolves 3, Manchester United 4. Game of the week for me. Well, let's talk about this game. We start with Rashford, early goal. After all of the situation, which once again, I don't understand how they handle stuff at Manchester United. It feels like they treat some players different than others. And I just don't like that. Because if they treated Sancho better, he would be making a ginormous impact and helping push United to top 6. But now he's playing for Borussia Dortmund again. Back to this game. Højlund scores. He's playing much better, and I love it. And then Sarabia gets a penalty and converts. And then Scott McTominay makes it 3-1. And you think it's all over. But Wolves say not so fast. Kilman scores, and then Pedro Neto makes it 3-3. But a late goal by, oh God, you getting ready for this? Kobe Mainu. You're kidding me, right? Forsen finds a good pass to Mino on the left side, and he drives by 3 defenders, and he gets it right past the hands of Jose Sa for a game winner. Incredible scenes. Omari Forsen with the assist. Omari Forsen is a 19-year-old wearing the number 67. Don't understand that number choice. I mean, if Kobe Mainu, who scores his first goal of the year, the man wearing the United number 37, grabs the goal. United, who are possibly resurrected, they sit 7th. Granted, Champions League spots are far away for them, and they are only 4 points off of 10th. But this is a vast improvement. I'm very amazed. Fair play, United. Listen, nothing was going their way. Bruno Fernandes got an assist. Garnacho is didn't have the greatest game ever, but he did have 0.54 expected assists, so he wasn't terrible. But when you give the young guys a chance, good things happen. And oh, by the way, Scott McTominay scored a goal. Scott McTominay is the leading scorer for Manchester United. The concerns are there. For Wolves, I'm sad. They played a good game. They should be in 10th and not Chelsea. To be fair, though, they would actually be still in 11th anyway. So not the worst result for Wolves. But they did get a little bit frustrated because they played Chelsea next. So the bells are sounding now. The alarms are sounding for Wolves a little bit. Granted, they didn't lose a game since December 17th. But losing like that to United, that's painful. Wolves, a team that I have been a big fan of very recently, they have an interesting stretch of games coming up where they play 2 of the teams in the bottom 5, but also mixed in with Chelsea and Tottenham away. So it's a very interesting stretch upcoming for Wolves. For United, we didn't get to talk about their upcoming matches. We'll talk about their upcoming weekend game against West Ham more in a bit. But they play Aston Villa away as well, Luton away, who I think they're going to lose that. They play Fulham, and then they have their cup match to end the month with Bristol or Nottingham Forest. If you want chaos, you want Bristol to win that game because you want Bristol to beat United if you're a fan of football right now. Today, no Premier League action happened. What to watch out for the week? For the weekend, we will start with one of my favorite ties every year. We have Everton playing Tottenham. This is a snooze fest. I mean, you have Michael Oliver as your referee. You know anything is possible. Everton, who've looked not great. Everton, a team in the relegation battle now. The alarm bells are sounding for them. They're in an interesting situation. They need someone to step up for them. And it probably needs to be Harrison, McNeil maybe, Onana, Calvert-Lewin. They need someone to do something in the attack. For Tottenham, they need to continue the positive play in their front four in their 4-2-3-1. For Timo Werner, the Kulusevski, James Madison, probably Richarlison if he starts there. But they have players in the defensive midfield, Bentancur, who's looked good, Sarr, who's looked good. The defense has looked very solid for them, from Udogi, Mickey Van de Ven, Christian Romero, Pedro Porro, who's played great at right back this season, and Vicario from Empoli. We talked about it with Dylan at the beginning of the year. We both thought he would be okay, but he's been actually very solid this season. I think he's transitioned very well. If you look at the injuries, there's nothing like that crazy. Of course, you have Son and Basuma. Basuma, who would be playing where Bentancur is, and Son, you know how good he is. My prediction for this game is a 1-0 to Tottenham. Playing at Goodison Park is never easy. I think Tottenham are going to struggle early on, but a goal from, I'm thinking, Richarlison again. He will continue his good form, assisted probably by either Werner or Madison. I think it's going to be a Tottenham win. They're going to win 1-0. Other games, there's nothing that crazy. Brighton Palace, I'm not a fan of. Newcastle Luton. Newcastle's been so good at home this year. I think Luton will make it close, but I think Newcastle wins it. We also have Burnley Fulham. I think Burnley can get back on track by possibly beating Fulham. And Aston Villa against Sheffield United. I'm not a fan of that game either. Sunday is where the fun stuff is. We start off with Bournemouth against Nottingham Forest. A game that I think can go back and forth. I got Bournemouth winning this one, though. I think continuing the good bit of play from players like Dominic Solanke. They have other good Semenyo. They have a ton of good players. They have more talent than Nottingham Forest, and Nottingham Forest is not a good team on the road. Nottingham Forest hasn't won a game in a little while now. Their last one was against Blackpool, which is not good. But Bournemouth, haven't looked that much better. They haven't beaten a Premier League team in a little bit as well, I don't believe. Look at their run of form. Their last win in the Prem, you have to go back to Boxing Day against Fulham. And the last time these two played, it was Bournemouth 3, Nottingham Forest 2. I'm going to say it's Bournemouth 3, Nottingham Forest 1 in this result. I think Bournemouth are going to be the better team, and they're going to look much better out there on the field. Chelsea Wolves, we saw this one, I believe, on Christmas Day. Let me just make sure of this, on Christmas Eve, and we saw a 2-1 result. I believe to Wolves, actually. Yeah, it was a 2-1 to Wolves. And I think it's a reverse 2-1 here. I'm going to say Chelsea win at home. Wolves are going to struggle without Hee-Chan Hwang up top. And I'm going to be interested to see how Wolves can respond after their 4-3 loss last time out. Man United, West Ham, we've already talked about this one. My score prediction for this one, I'm going to go 1-0 to Manchester United. I think a goal from probably Højlund is on the cards. He's looked better. I think he's going to continue his run of form. And then this game, which annoys me that it's not on USA Network. I don't know what you could put on USA Network other than this, or NBC at that. We have Arsenal and Liverpool. How Anthony Taylor is officiating this game. You already know this game is going to be bad. I'm predicting it. I have the feeling. Let's look at who's missing this game. The reason I think this game will be closer than it is, because I had a feeling before it that Liverpool was going to win this before AFCON and Asian Cup everything started. Salah being out makes this game so much different. 1-1 draw for this one. I think it's going to be the same result as the first one. I think Arsenal are going to look a little bit better, but they're not going to look much better against Liverpool. Playing at home does help, but listen, it's going to be a back-and-forth battle. Liverpool, the way they're playing right now, they're not going to mess around for sure. The way they can counter so well is crazy. I think Liverpool are going to score early on, but Arsenal is going to respond. Flipping the script from last time. A lot of flipping the script in this episode today. And that is my result. I'm going to say Liverpool 1, Arsenal 1. And then Brentford played City on Monday. Give me a 2-0 win for Manchester City. I think Haaland scores a brace, though they look great. And they have so many young players too. City are just pissing me off. I'm not talking about them anymore. Now on to the next topic today of the day, which is AFCON and the Asian Cup. Woo! Another day of this. And we will start with today's quarterfinal action. Starting off with a very sad moment today. We had Tajikistan finally meet their match, you could say. They lost to Jordan on an own goal, that's such a horrible way to go out. Hananov got an own goal. That's enough for Jordan. Look at the stats. I mean, there's not much to say. It's a pretty balanced game overall. Jordan had some okay chances. So did Tajikistan, to be fair. But listen, Jordan got a little bit lucky, and they advanced to the Asian Cup semifinals. Tajikistan, who were in their first ever Asian Cup knockouts. Fair play to Tajikistan. I gave them a lot of hate in the beginning. I thought they were going to be really bad, but you don't expect. I didn't know what to think about China and Lebanon in the beginning of the tournament. Listen, Tajikistan maybe make a statement ahead of World Cup qualify. I don't know. Hold on a second. Is Tajikistan? Where are they in World Cup qualifying? I completely forgot about this. Oh, they're in the group with Saudi Arabia and they played Jordan again. Jesus Christ. Oh, they're in the group with Pakistan. Okay, so I know this group. So they play Saudi Arabia and Jordan. Listen, they can get their revenge in June with Jordan. I'm dead serious. They go away to Jordan, which they haven't even listed where this is. Tajikistan's next competitive match is March 21st. They play away to Saudi Arabia. Then they host Saudi Arabia. So, unfortunate for Tajikistan. They're eliminated. Jordan advances to the semifinals. And we also saw the best game of the day by far, as we get to talk about the aforementioned Heung-min Son and Hee Chan-Hwang. Australia won, South Korea 2. Let's break this game down. We started us off with Craig Goodwin scoring the opener. Now, I'll be honest, I was texting my friends, Australia was going to win it. But then South Korea gets a penalty, and Hee Chan-Hwang scores. We're level at 1. And then we go to extra time, which was insanity, and we get a goal on a free kick from Heung-min Son. South Korea takes the lead. After being down and out for 95 minutes, South Korea goes out and grabs a shocking win against Australia. A game where South Korea dominated possession, looked better at certain points. Australia, who also had some great moments in this game. South Korea advances to play Jordan in the semifinals, which is going to, you know, the star power of this South Korean bunch. I predicted this half of the bracket right from the predictions from Tuesday. But how many? I mean, I had Jordan losing to. Well, at least I had the winner of Iraq and Jordan in the right round, so fair play for that. But listen, this bracket's been crazy. The whole Asian Cup has been so much fun. South Korea advances. They're playing Jordan on February 6th. But what's the other quarterfinals? Tomorrow we have, starting us off, actually this is the second game. Starting us off, my mistake. We have Iran playing Japan in Education City Stadium in Al-Rayan, or Ar-Rayan, I don't know. What to watch out for this game? Listen, this game is going to be a lot of fun. I'm picking Japan because I picked them to win going into this. But knowing that Iran hasn't lost in 13 and Japan can't defend, I mean, they haven't kept the clean sheet in their last 5, which is concerning. Have you seen who they've played in their group? They conceded goals to teams like, is that Kyrgyzstan? Who is that? Oh, it's Vietnam. Jesus Christ. They've conceded goals to teams like an injury-plagued Vietnam. They lost to Iraq. They conceded goals to Indonesia and Bahrain. This is not as high quality as a Japan side as I originally thought. The team that I thought was going to win it all. But I'm backing them anyway. And listen, this Japan team has still so much quality. And you can't deny that. Looking at the players they haven't scored a lot of goals. And wait, this is not even the right tournament. This immediately loaded up. Let's just look at this. Japan is the better. Matty Taremi's had a great tournament for Iran. I'm going Japan in extra time. And it's going to be a fun one. It's going to be back and forth all the way. I'm saying Japan wins 2-1 in extra time. They avenge their... I mean, you see it in the World Cups how they bottle it in late in games. They're not doing it here. And then we have Qatar. They're playing Uzbekistan. Listen, I want Uzbekistan to win this. Just for the narrative. I mean, listen, I'm picking Qatar, but I want Uzbekistan to win. Because, listen, when have you heard of Uzbekistan football being good? I don't know. I personally haven't. But when you have players like Abusek Fuyazaluyev, how could you not like this? This is going to be so much fun. I am watching this tomorrow. Before I go to my ESPN stuff tomorrow. This is going to be so much fun. I'm saying Qatar wins 2-1, but I want Uzbekistan. In my heart, I want Uzbekistan to win, but my actual pick is Qatar. They have so much talent, too. Akram Afif, Almoez Ali, they're so good. They're probably the best two players on the field talent-wise, and they're probably also the most recognizable names on the field if you saw them in the Gold Cups before, if you've seen them in the World Cup. Like, granted, Uzbekistan, who are ranked behind the likes of DR Congo, who we actually talk about next. I want them to win, but I think Qatar gets it done. I'm saying the Qataris win this game 2-1, just like they did against Palestine. But listen, it's going to be a fun one. I'm saying Qatar plays Japan in the semifinals, which that will be a great semifinal as well. But all to play for in the Asian Cup. Heading over to the ways of AFCON, this is also very interesting. I just got done listening and watching the game between Nigeria and Angola. The final score was Nigeria 1, Angola 0. I'm going to give Angola a lot of credit. The end of the game was chaos, and they had chances throughout the match. Nigeria you could argue, got kind of screwed. The announcers this was actually a very funny moment. One of the I had to go do some homework, so I wasn't able to actually watch this. So I was listening to the game, and the commentator was going after the VAR because in the offside rule, which fair play, the offside rule does kind of suck. But if the offside rule was it was changed a little bit, Victor Osimhen would have scored the second goal, and this game would have been over in the 75th minute. But because of a goal being disallowed, Nigeria had to sweat this one out. Nigeria did win 1-0. They advanced to a semifinal that you would have expected them to get out of. I did predict this part of the bracket correct. Shocking. I'm saying shocker because I can't predict anything right apparently now. I mean, have you seen how bad some of my Asian Cup picks have been? Tajikistan and actually that's a very popular pick was Tajikistan in last. But to be fair though, Nigeria, better team on the field, had a good goal at Lookman, but they have to be better. And they're playing either a Cape Verde or South African team that has a lot of quality on the field. Both of them do. They have to be better. I mean, if you lose to a team featuring names like is Goodman Masel, I keep forgetting this. Like Evidence Makokpa, come on, man. Tapela Mokwena, Temba Swane. I mean, come on, guys. They're not going to South Africa or Cape Verde, who also, to be fair, they do have a lot of quality. This Cape Verde team, we'll talk about their match in a minute. But they do have a very basic guy's name, Ryan Costa, to be fair. But anyway, now let's go to the match. It actually hasn't started yet at the time of this recording. And that is the DR Congo playing Guinea. This game is going to be boring as all heck because neither of these teams are really good in the goal scoring department. So I'm expecting nothing. That being said, this is going to be a 0-0 to extra time. I'm saying Guinea beats the DR Congo, a Guinea team that I also had finishing, oh my god. I just realized I had them finishing last in the group stage behind the Gambia, and they're about to possibly make AFCON semifinals, which just makes this the most unpredictable tournament in the world. I am saying this right now. AFCON, the most unpredictable soccer tournament in the world. You think you can predict this, and I thought that as well. I'll be honest, I messed up. But this game is going to be this is actually a snooze fest. I'd recommend watching PSG Strasbourg until the 80th minute because that's when this game will get fun. But I'm seeing the stars are aligning to say extra time thriller. I'm going to have Guinea win 1-0 in extra time. Tomorrow, more of the same. We have more quarterfinal action. Starting off with the aforementioned Cape Verde South Africa match. This is the later game, by the way. My prediction, I know I had Cape Verde here, right? Oh no, I had Cape Verde playing Morocco, and I had Morocco win, but Morocco bottled it. So I'm gonna go with. This is a tough game to pick. This is gonna be an interesting one. Cape Verde have been much better in front of goal than South Africa, but South Africa, after losing to Mali, have drawn Tunisia and beat Morocco. Cape Verde beat Ghana, drew Egypt, beat Mozambique, and beat Mauritania. I'm going with the smallest country left in the tournament. I'm going with the Cape Verde Islands to beat South Africa 2-0. A reverse to what South Africa did to Morocco. I think Cape Verde is just a little bit higher quality than South Africa, but listen, these guys are going to be the shock of the tournament. It's going to be Cape Verde, and I think they're going to win this one 2-0. Go on to play Nigeria in the semifinals. If South Africa make it, this is also going to be a good semifinal. This semifinal is going to be better than the other one, and I'll tell you why in a minute. Then we have Mali against the Ivory Coast. Now, Ivory Coast shouldn't even be here, I'll be honest. They got lucky to even make the knockouts. And that being said, I'm going to pick the Ivory Coast. After I know I picked... Actually, I didn't even pick Mali to win this game to begin with. I had Senegal. I'm going with the Ivory Coast. The home field advantage in any African match is so impactful. Ivory Coast is, after finishing third, are going to find a way to make it to the final. Because I'm probably going to have them beat Guinea, depending on how both of them look in their matches today and tomorrow. But right now, I just think that Ivory Coast, coming off of their miraculous win against Senegal, which that game went to penalties. Listen, they haven't scored a goal from open play yet in the knockouts. But I think that changes here. Mali, a very likable team, a very fun team to watch. I just think Ivory Coast playing a home type of match, I think you're just going to overpower them later on. Give me a 2-1, actually. That would be my score. 2-1 Ivory Coast. So that will set up our semifinals, which we'll talk about on Tuesday. I believe we'll talk about on Tuesday, because that's on the 7th. I was making sure I had to talk about... Yeah, so one semifinal from Asian is actually going to be done. Before we talk about... Hold on. Everything's loading very slow. So, because of that, we might have to talk about the Asian Cup. Yeah, we'll have to talk about the Asian Cup semifinals now. South Korea, Jordan. We'll talk about that very quickly. I like South Korea in this game. They have so much quality on the field. I talked about them already. Jordan, they're the underdogs. They're going to be a lot of people. I mean, like I said, they're an underdog. And a lot of people love a good underdog story. But South Korea, how they've had to dig deep in so many matches in this tournament. They've struggled against teams like Malaysia, a team like Palestine, a team... Actually, Jordan was in their group... Oh, is this a group stage rematch? Hold on a minute. I just realized this now. Oh my days. I think this is a rematch from the group stage. Oh my goodness. Oh, this is South Korea's game to win. You know how this game went. There was an own goal. Yep, this is right. This is the own goal to give them the lead, to give them the draw. South Korea are winning this. And this one's going to not go to extra time. I'm saying South Korea wins 2. Let's go 3-2, actually. 3-2 South Korea. It's going to be a good one. But I think just South Korea's quality. Now they've had to dig deep against Australia. I think they're going to do it again here. And I'm going to say they beat Jordan and advanced to the Asian Cup final. Now for our final topic of the day, you'll think I'd be talking about tennis again, but we're done with tennis. It is time to talk some baseball. Spring training, games are... We can talk about baseball games this month. I'm so excited. We're going to do a more... Tuesday, I know I'm talking about on the NHL first half. I believe we're going to discuss on Tuesday. I'm going to discuss it on Tuesday. But this has to be talked about. And we, ladies and gentlemen, we have a trade. Corbin Burnes, starting pitcher from the Milwaukee Brewers, was traded last night to the Baltimore Orioles for two prospects, I think for Joey Ortiz, D.L. Hall, and a 2024 draft pick. Also, by the way, I almost forgot. We have one more topic after this, if I remember to get to it. Let me talk about this real quick. Corbin Burnes, who has 1 year left on his contract, you would imagine that he wouldn't re-sign with Milwaukee. So Milwaukee went for possibly getting something back in return instead of nothing at all, which is a weird way to go about it. But no matter what happens, this is a very weird timing of this move, because also from Baltimore, they're getting new ownership, and I talked about it on Wednesday. The fact that they followed it up the next night by trading for Corbin Burnes makes it feel like they're going to re-sign Corbin Burnes next year. But I don't know if it happens. Corbin Burnes was traded for, as mentioned, Joey Ortiz, D.L. Hall, and the 34th pick. So, listen, in a down year he had last year, he still pitched in over 190 innings with a 3.39 ERA. That's a down year for him. What the Orioles are getting, they needed starting pitching, and they got it here with Burnes. They just need to make sure that he can stay healthy, because this team will be a contender if he stays healthy. They probably would need one more piece. I don't know where they get that from. Looking at you, Jordan Montgomery. But listen, this is a great move for Baltimore. A move that they needed to make. And that's what I like about it the most. Baltimore Orioles making moves. They're not going to be cheap anymore. That's the narrative that we're going to have for them next offseason. The fact that they went out and made this move makes it feel like this team is going to contend. This team doesn't want to mess around, and this team will be here for years to come. They're not messing around, and they're trying to get it done right here with this move for Corbin Burnes. They get themselves a legitimate ace, a player that some thought at one point was the best pitcher in baseball. Milwaukee's I don't even know what the word is at this point. They're clearing house, I guess. Recently they've lost guys like Josh Hader. I think they lost Woodruff. And now they're losing Corbin Burnes. They've lost other pieces that I'm forgetting for sure as well. Yes, Monty Grandal being one of them years ago now. This is very interesting. But the Milwaukee Brewers went for the team control route. Very weird that they went this way now. But what a win for the Baltimore Orioles, for the city of Baltimore. If you saw what the Ravens did this season, but with the Orioles being this good for multiple years for the first time in like a decade, this is great for the city. I'm so happy for them. This is a phenomenal move for the Baltimore Orioles. And you're probably thinking, Robbie, what other topic do you have? Well, we had a coaching change in the NFL that I forgot to talk about earlier on in the episode that we're going to get to right now. And that is with the Washington Commanders. Yes, guys. The Washington Commanders have hired a coach, and they went with Dan Quinn. Just take that in for a second. The guy who got ran off the field by Jordan Love is a head coach again. I don't know how to feel about this. 43-42 record in 5+ seasons as the Falcons head coach. He led the Falcons to the Super Bowl when they blew the 28-3 lead. I'm not a fan of this. I'm not. To be fair, They didn't. I mean, of course, they had guys like Belichick and Vrabel still out there. I know we all know they didn't get their top choice, probably. But this just feels weird from this standpoint. I'm confused. I really am. I mean, Josh Harris makes his first major staffing move since buying the team, which was firing Rivera, and they replaced him with a dude that's barely better than Rivera. Weird. The only positive here is that the defense is going to look great. But now it just questions Washington's offense even more. This is now going to go into the hands of Bieniemy, and I think this can go very well. I think it was actually in the hands of Bieniemy last year anyway. We saw glimpses of what that offense can do. The question now is, who's going to be under center for them? What are they going to do in free agency? How aggressive are they going to be? Because they know the talent of the other three teams of the division. The Giants still have quality. That's not, I cannot underestimate that. The Giants have a lot of quality on their team still. Can they resign their pieces is the question for them. Dallas, we know what they can do. They've made it to the playoffs. And the Eagles, who had a down year after getting everyone injured to hell and back, they're a playoff contender as well. Washington needs to do something drastic, and I don't know what that is. This season, they traded away a lot of pieces. The biggest one for me, were Chase Young and Montez Sweat. I'm interested to see where they go from here. That's going to be the biggest question. How aggressive are they going to be this offseason? Part of me says not at all. But part of me says that they absolutely will. What are they going to do? I guess we'll have to wait and see. And that'll be the end of today's episode of the Robbie Basel Show. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you like what you see, hit the like button down below. Subscribe to the channel. Make sure to check out the description down below. Just check out the last Into the Stands episode from Wednesday, where I got a lot of slander for hating on the Detroit Lions. On that note, I'm Robbie Basel saying so long. Enjoy your weekend. I'll see you guys Tuesday. Goodbye, everyone.